we're playing in mythology. So, we've done the Greek gods, we'll talk about the Egyptian. So, Ra, Isis, and Set. So, Ra is, this is, in case you haven't seen all these before, this is like an overall civilization, what's strong about the Egyptians, what's weak about the Egyptians, the main gods. We're going to talk about what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and, you know, the Egyptian gods are less streamlined. Greek are very much one type of a thing. The Egyptian gods are very much more chilled about that, and they tend to just do different things instead. We are going to talk about a brief overview of the minor gods and stuff like that. So, Ra, his thing is very much more economy based. So with Egyptians, their strength is that they are a lot of the buildings don't cost any resources. So houses are free, mining camps are free, wood lumber camps are free, and granaries are free. And a lot of the resources just goes gold instead. So if you play on any of the Egyptian maps on the random map, you will see them have a lot of gold. So just be wary of that. The farms cost gold, not wood. The towers only cost gold, I believe. The Midgard stronghold only costs gold and favor. So a lot of the it's very gold intensive. So you can do a lot less wood upgrades. So a massive negative of the Egyptians, though, is that they do gather all the units build slower and gather slower. But to offset that, they've got pharaohs which empower buildings, and they can empower building when a building is being built to make it be built faster. They can do it on a ready-made building, and that can train units faster and train units faster, and it also can research technologies faster. You've then got, what else is there? Nah, I can't remember. We'll go into the more specifics in there. But Ra is the first god that is around, as we can see, and it is chariots and camels are his focus. So pharaohs empower better. Priests may also empower. Now, priests do not empower as good as the pharaohs if you're not playing Ra, but they still do have that little bit of a bonus, so it's good. Chariots and camels are faster and have more hit points, so he's pushing you away from elephants towards chariots and camels. Monuments are cheaper and stronger. Monuments is how the Egyptians gain favour. There's a total of 5. Each one is bigger in space, generation of favour, and also he is more costly. So his improvement will help that expense be lowered. So Isis is probably the strongest goddess of all. So monuments shield from enemy god powers. You can actually scout an Isis player if they built a monument by just going over that area. I'll go over the god powers in a second. But yeah, Isis is amazing. She also has increases your town centre support +3 population, so that does mean that you can get an extra unit or 2. All improvements are cheaper. That includes leveling up, so that is a massive coup for stuff like that. Obelisks are cheaper and built faster. I don't use obelisks. I know a lot of people do. I don't, so you won't see me use those. Set is my least favorite god of all of them. Set is a really, really difficult god to play, unless you're skilled at it. And Set is just really, really strong if you know how to play it. If you don't, then he's not. So yeah, Set is difficult. So priests convert wild animals, and pharaohs can summon animals. For a cost of favour, priests just convert, but they convert really slowly, and it's often not worth it. Archers train faster, so that would be slingers, and that would also be chariot archers. So it's often whichever you'd prefer to do. Maybe start with slingers and go to chariot archers. Slingers are stronger, which is a counter archer, and mid-goal stronghold units are cheaper. Mid-goal stronghold units house the cavalry, elephants, and chariot archers. So having them cheaper makes... Oh no, mid-goal strongholds are cheaper, so it makes it, I think, from 400 down to 360. So he does help slightly. So now we're going to talk about the classic age gods, or the gods in general. So, we'll talk about the god powers as well. So Ra gives you access to rain, which means that everyone will gather food faster. You gather faster, then your allies gather faster, and then your enemies gather faster. So you gather the fastest, your enemies gather the slowest, but they still do gather. But the benefit of having rain is that you can build up a strong farm economy before maybe your enemy can, meaning that you can gather resources a lot faster. So you can create it where you're definitely going to receive the best the best outcome for it. Skin of the Rhino improves villager hack and pierce armor and hand attack, which is really useful if you're fighting lions or going around. You're not going to get killed as easily from wild animals, and also if you are raided, it means you can maybe run a bit faster away. So, with Egyptians, you can build as many heroes as you like, but you can only get one type, which is a priest. You can get pharaohs as well, but you only get one or two of them. And these heal units and are strong against myth units. Both of them. They're really weak in the first age, and priests can't even pick up relics until you get the Hand of the Pharaoh upgrade. So it increases Pharaoh pierce damage, but it also increases the range of priests' attack by quite a lot, and allows them to pick up relics. You can also have access to mercenary, so these die after a short amount of time, and they cost gold, but they're good. So let's have a look at before we have a look at the Right, so we're going to have a look at all the god powers and their bonuses, only the major gods, and then we're going to have a look at the civilization tree, and then we'll have a look at those. Yeah, right, okay, cool. Right, so Isis gives you prosperity, so it allows only you, to gather gold faster than anyone else, which is really useful as an Egyptian, as gold is a priority. So Isis is stronger in that sense over all the Egyptians because she allows you to gather gold that much faster. Flood of the Nile, it means you get free food. So just like Hades provided you free gold, Isis provides you free food. But she also does make your gold go faster, so there is something. And Set gives you access to Vision. Vision allows a random part of a map to be temporarily revealed. Potentially finding someone or whatever, but it's useful. And then he gives you access, he improves the hit point, speed, armor, and attack of converted or summoned animals. Again, if you use that, that's great. If you don't, you don't. So let's have a look at their tree. So granary is the same. Mining camp and lumber camp, obviously that makes sense. Docks are exactly the same, so it's fine. We've talked about monuments. You get access to one. I can't see any others. You can build them all in one age, and it's villagers, soldiers, priests, pharaohs, gods. So there's 5 of them. Yeah. So the way that the Egyptians work is they give you access to a barracks rather than one for archers, one for infantry, and one for cavalry. They just give you a barracks, and that gives you access to all 3. And these are mainly counter units. So it's counter cavalry with spearmen, counter infantry with axemen, and counter archers with slingers. He also gives you the Koshep swordsman, Kopesh swordsman. Yeah, I'll go more into that in a second. But you started off with these 3 originally. So spearmen you saw, they're infantry, but they are classed as counter cavalry. So if you're an infantry, you do more damage to cavalry, but you take more damage from archers. So I don't understand why they're counter cavalry when they can't just be spearmen, when they can't just be like infantry. But hey ho, it's infantry only meant for cavalry. They do have a bonus damage against siege weapons as well, so they are quite useful in that sense. Axemen are the MVP of the Egyptians, in my opinion. They are amazing against infantry. Their hack armor is 40%, that's quite high. Their pierce armor is 5%, so if you are going to use Axemen, you do need some sort of extra pierce armor. And slingers are counter archers, and they are really good as well. But you can do a lot of damage with an army of Axemen slingers. So Khopesh swordsmen are only really good against villages and caravans, so they're much more of a raiding unit than anything else. They were new, they were added, they're not that great, not gonna lie. But they're a good raiding unit for that reason. So everything else is the same. And then you get Midgård Stronghold. So the Midgård Stronghold, you have access to Archer, so Chariot Archer, which is obviously in a chariot. Cavalry, a fast and expensive unit, but it's going against half archers and cavalry, because it's essentially a counter cavalry, but also still a cavalry. So yeah. And elephant warriors, which just destroy. They are slow and expensive. I mean, 180 food and 70 gold, expensive, but they're great against pretty much everything, especially buildings. The siege workshop, which costs 75 gold to build. You build a siege tower on the first one, and then a catapult on the second one. So the difference between these two is these don't have strong bolt attack. It's literally just a ram as a siege tower. But they do have quite a bit of crush damage, and it's essentially a ram Heliopoli. It doesn't use bolts, it uses just damage. And catapult is really strong. So its crush damage is 10, and the reason why catapult's so good in comparison to Heliopoli is they just do one solid catapult. They just do one solid projectile rather than 3, and so that will always hit its target. So it's a lot more damage, but it's definitely gonna hit. But that is mainly just used for the thing. But apart from that, everything else is relatively the same. All the upgrades and stuff. So we're going to talk about their gods. So you've got Anubis. So Anubis gives you access to one of the weakest god powers in the game, a Plague of Serpents. So for those of you who don't know what Plague of Serpents are, they're literally just snakes almost that appear. You can get water snakes or you can get earth snakes. You can't control them, and they don't attack automatically. So they're really not actually that useful. So Plague of Serpents is something just to kind of help defend more so than anything else, or destroy ships, because the ship ones are a bit more dangerous, but yeah. Anubite is really strong. They're really cheap and really fast, and they leap into combat and cause damage. The feat of the Jackal improves their hit points, attack, and jump distance. He improves your spearman attack, and he also gives you monuments grant you favor faster. Really, really powerful god. Really, love Anubis. He's one of my favorites. Ptah, I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's how I'm going to say it. It gives you access to shifting sands, which was reported one of the best god powers in the game. I don't think it is, but it is useful because it transports your units from one part of a map to another. Only one time though, so use it wisely. Widget is a really weak, squishy unit. Magical Cobra that spits venom, and it does regenerate, so that is useful. But in a game where you've got unlimited healers, excuse me, it's not really worth it. He also makes your farms cheaper and lets them build them faster. So that does mean that when you've finished all the hunting in the area, you can go farms easily with him. And he improves your axemen, your slingers, and your... Wait. Axemen attack. So, slinger attack. And the pierce armor of spearmen. Okay. Alright. You've also got Bast. Now, Bast is very much villagers. So she gives you access to... It helps you knock down trees and gather wood faster, and also makes your farms produce food faster. And she also gives you access to the Sphinx. The Sphinx is a really, really good unit, only if you have the upgrades for it. Otherwise, it's quite weak. And the upgrades aren't exactly, like, cheap. It's 350 wood and 15 favor. As well as the 18 favor and 120 for the Sphinx. But they do turn into a whirlwind, which is good against buildings, and it's also good against units. So they've got crush damage as well, so they are quite good against buildings. She also gives you Eclipse, which improves your attack and speed of all your myth units for a short time. And then we're going to move on to Heroic Age. So Heroic Age, you get access to Hathor, Sekhmet, and Nephesis, I want to say. But we'll start with Hathor. So Hathor is a really, really good goddess. She gives you access to Locust Swarm. So Locust Swarm destroys fishing ships and farms, and it also attacks villagers. So it's really useful damaging someone's economy. She gives you, I don't know how to pronounce those, Petsuchos? I don't know. So we're going to call them Crocs. So Crocs are really, really good because with their upgrade, which is here, they can actually outrange everything. So they are really good at taking down buildings from afar, because they do have crush damage and pierce damage. So they're good at taking down buildings, they're good at taking down units, and they're just really good for ranged support. She makes your buildings cheaper and stronger, and also increases the lifespan of your mercenaries, which is a horse mercenary or infantry. She gives you Rock, which is a transport flying unit, so it can just drop enemies in pretty much unannounced. So that's quite useful. Sekhmet, I don't know, gives you access to Citadel. Citadel just is a really powerful town centre. It can either be used on an ally or you. Gives you access to a Scarab, which is a living myth unit, and living siege unit. But what is really cool about them is when they die, they release a poisonous gas, so they can hurt people around them, but they are definitely useful against buildings. She is definitely a siege one. She gives you access, your chariot archers become strong, improving their range, and slingers increasing their attack, especially against infantry. She makes your siege towers stronger, and she makes your catapults and war barges do extra damage to buildings. So then we're going to go to Isis. Nephesis, I don't know. She gives you access to very good god power in Ancestors. So it arrives a navy or or just units out of the dead to help you fight for a short amount of time, and when that time finishes, they all die. Leviathan is a naval transport unit, and that also attacks. Scorpion Men. The Scorpion Men are really interesting thing about that. Sorry, just hydrating. Scorpion Men are actually some of the strongest myth units in the game, especially against units. They're not so great against buildings, but they are really, really strong against units, and they're really quite fast attackers. So if you are actually at a disadvantage because they've just got tons and tons of units, see how many Scorpion Men you can get out, and that might do some damage. She also makes your priests cheaper, faster healing, and makes your pharaohs and priests stronger against myth units, and also brings your pharaoh back from the dead and makes them stronger. So if your pharaoh dies regularly, she might be the god for you. Which brings us on to the final one. So we've got Osiris. Osiris is actually Isis's son, so that's fun. So he gives you access to Son of Osiris, so you can make your pharaoh into this demigod who attacks with chains of lightning. So you can attack one enemy and it will just chain against loads of different other enemies to increase the damage. She gives you access to a mummy. Now mummies, he also empowers better. So if you're struggling with your economy, Son of Osiris can really help with your economy if you're this late in the game. Mummy is a myth unit, so its special attack is to kill one of the human unit of the enemy side instantly and turn them into a minion. They also are a ranged attack, but they are very expensive. Affect Crown, it improves your mummies and the lifespan of their minions, because the minions will die after time. Allows your archer ships to do more damage to archer ships. Gives you access to 2 pharaohs instead of 1, and increases the speed, attack, and hit points of the camels. You could go with Thoth, who is really strong god power meteor. It just attacks with meteors. Phoenix is actually quite weak unit. It's not the best. Phoenix is really strong, except if it's against anything with archers or arrows, because then it will take a lot of damage from them. So it's useful, and you can bring it back up, but it's actually one of the weakest myth units of all time in terms of this game. Hang on. So I've got this, there's a little thing here that is actually blocking me from seeing. So War Turtle. War Turtle is the other unit it gets. So if you are doing a lot of naval stuff, War Turtles could be useful. So Thoth is useful for that. They're strong, but there's nothing really more about them to say. Allows you to get your labourers to gather food, wood and gold faster. And I think it's actually providing them faster than the other things. The problem with this is just it comes a bit too late. Thoth looks great on paper, but actually isn't that great. Increases the hit point and attack of your war elephants, and also lets your camels, chariots, and war elephants train faster. That is a very useful one, but apart from that, Thoth is actually a lot weaker than you think. Oh, sorry there. Horus. Horus is really quite cool. I like Horus. I think it's a very different way of doing. It gives you a very different way of winning or losing faster. Gives you Tornado, really strong god power. Especially if you use it in an enemy space when you're not there. Avenger is one of my favourite Egyptian myth units completely, because it's a very fast attacker. Because if you look, 28 hack damage doesn't sound like a lot in comparison to 25 as a Scorpion Man, and even 13 as an Anubite. So, but for a Mythic Age god power, for a Mythic Age thing, 28 attack damage isn't that much, but it attacks very quickly. And it spins around as a special attack, attacking everyone in the area. So, gives your axemen increased attack damage and bonus against buildings. Your spearmen improves their hack armor and bonus damage against cavalry, and improves your spearmen attack and hit points. So if you didn't want to go with Midgard Stronghold units, and you want to just go with barracks units, Horus is a way to win through that. And his Avenger is a really good god power, because it's a really good myth unit, because it's food rather than gold. So that's the Egyptians in the thing. Again, I will play a game with each one, a 2v2 on moderate. I will do, this is what I'll be doing, so Egyptian god powers on moderate, large map, 2v2 random all, like I've been doing the previous ones. I hope you've been enjoying them, because I've been enjoying making them. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this little tip about the Egyptians. I will make more tips going through playing them because it's difficult to remember everything when you're just sat here thinking without the script. But anyway, my name is That One Dude. If you enjoyed, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.